Hi guys, hope you're doing well. In today's video I'm going to be talking about mindfulness. I'm going to be focusing on the why we should try and practice mindfulness and be more mindful, and then the how can we practice, what is a good practice for us to do so that we can be more mindful. So before I start, I would say, if you haven't seen it already, go and check out my latest video, Mindful Monkey Happy Panda. I think you can click up there and get it. It's a very short story that's perfect and beautifully told for children and adults alike, and that will give you a really good even more brief introduction. And so if you've seen that and you're back, I'm going to begin talking about mindfulness by describing what almost the opposite of mindfulness, what mindfulness isn't. And I'm sure all of us have experienced it, where you're driving the same route every day, and you get in your car, you leave your house to get to work or to a friend's or whatever it is, some route that you drive regularly, and you arrive and you think, what happened? I don't remember any of the journey. And in the hypnotherapy literature, that's called the highway trance, because ultimately you're in a trance as you're driving along. And so obviously that's not being mindful. That's the highway trance. And there's a lovely story. I'm not going to read the whole passage, but a close cousin of the highway trance would be fantasy or imagination, when you get lost in your mind. And this is Carl Jung's autobiography, and he talks about when he was younger, he'd be walking home from school and get lost in his imagination. I won't read you the whole passage, but I'll read you the last bit. And he says, suddenly I found myself on my doorstep, as though only a few minutes had passed. I stepped out of my fantasy as out of a carriage which had effortlessly driven me home. And so this is the like a big factor of the highway trance, or our fantasy and imagination, that suddenly we come to and we think, oh, where have I been? What's happening? How did I get here? And so if you've experienced that, then what I'm talking about is going to resonate more with you, because you've experienced that. If you've experienced it a lot, and to the point where it's got annoying or something bad has happened because of that, then yeah, you're really ready for this video and to move forward. And the final thing to emphasize the point would be when you're talking to someone and you realize, I haven't been listening, and you say, sorry, what did you say? Especially if it's a spouse or a parent, and you haven't been listening to a word I've been saying, have you? And of course not, because you've been off in your imagination and not being mindful and paying attention to that person. So this brings us to, why should we be mindful? So if escaping from these states of mind, the highway trance, the daydream or imagination, fantasy that we can live our whole lives in, if that isn't enough, then there's a quote that should hopefully make it even more clear and powerful why we should be practicing mindfulness. It's, if you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. So most of our mental suffering that we experience from day to day, it only exists in the past or the future. You'll find, if you observe your internal states enough, your mental states enough, you'll see that most of your worries will be in the past. Yeah, if you're depressed, you're thinking about things in the past and how you'd wish they'd gone better. If you're anxious, you're worrying about what's coming in the future. But I'll get to it more in a minute, the how. If you bring yourself back to the present moment, practice mindfulness, these depressions and anxieties disappear, because they don't exist in this moment. And why else should we do it? Because mindfulness is a way of befriending ourselves and our experience. And this is the sense that everyone is like this. Everyone who's never heard of mindfulness, never tried to practice mindfulness, lives in this way, this constant highway trance or daydream, or constantly in their mind. And so it's important that we experience this for ourselves. We experience a few highway trances. We experience a few arguments with our spouse shouting at us and, hey, you don't ever listen. You're always, never present. And we can be more present and all of our life will be better. So this brings me to the how. How can we be more mindful? Well, ultimately, it's about just keep constantly coming back to the present moment. And essentially, that's all it is. And again, watch Mindful Monkey, Happy Panda, because it portrays it beautifully. But here's a short snippet from it, the culmination of it. If you're not going to watch it, here's Happy Panda talking to Mindful Monkey.
True happiness, said Happy Panda gently, comes from bringing all your attention to whatever you're doing right now. There's no need to think about what happened yesterday. Yesterday's gone, over, done. And there's no need to worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow isn't here. But today is all around us. Bringing your mind back to this moment, right here, over and over again, is called mindfulness.
And so, in essence, the practice of mindfulness is to continually come back. One thing for you to try, if you're experiencing depression, you're experiencing anxiety, or you're lost in your mind, try and have a sensation of your body. Either if you're sitting on the chair, feel your weight on the chair. If you're walking, become aware of your footsteps. And then just become aware vividly of what you see around you and where you are. And just almost say, I am here. I am watching this. I can see that. Because if you do that periodically, that's the opposite of being lost in your thoughts or the highway trance. By saying, like affirming that I'm here, I'm looking at this, I know that I'm here, that is a moment of mindfulness. But if you practice and observe enough, you'll notice that pretty soon after you've had a moment of mindfulness, you're off back to imagination world or some sort of trance. So the thing that we have to remember is that the mind is just like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets and the more it can expand. So the more we practice mindfulness, the more capacity we'll have to bring mindfulness into our life. And so, yeah, essentially, if you're anxious and you're lost in your thoughts, you're either in the past or the future where these things exist. And if you can bring your mind, your awareness back to the present moment, then you'll find that those things will disappear. And just like the Lao Tzu quote, if you're in peace, you're in the present moment. That's the only place you're ever going to find inner peace or whatever all the religions point to. It's here and now. It's not going to be later. It's not going to be when I got this or when I got that or when this leaves or that stops. It's there for you in every moment. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I'll say watch the whole of Mindful Monkey, Happy Panda. And you can also check out my Sacred Eastern Text playlist. And that has within it the Buddhist text, the Dhammapada, and another Buddhist text, the Four Dharmas of Gampopa. And they will expand on this idea of mindfulness and moving away from suffering massively. If this resonates with you at all, I suggest you read those books and practice mindfulness. And yeah, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Keep coming back to the channel for more valuable content. Share this with someone else if you've been touching on these things, trying to be more mindful, bring more peace into your life. Share it with someone and almost create an accountability partner so you can, share your experiences. And if you're comfortable and you've got a powerful experience you think could benefit someone else, put it down in the comments and I can even talk about it or share it with the channel. But it'll be great for other people to read that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you can start to bring more mindfulness into your life. And by so bringing more mindfulness into your life, you can bring more peace and happiness into your life. And isn't that what we all want essentially? So just keep coming back constantly and don't get frustrated, because it's how we all experience the mind and our existence, unless you've done a hell of a lot of practice. But even that first moment, when you first experience the potential and the possibility of it, then you've already made a massive step. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Take care now. Bye.